Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has got a re-election fight of his own. Governor, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Brian. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's always great to have you on. Now let's talk about somebody else's election for a second. What do you take away, because you're always studying, trying to learn, and you're up for re-election. What do you take away from Dave Jolly's victory?
Well, this is a big deal. I mean, for anybody who thought Obamacare wasn't going to be front and center in the 2014 election, this election, a day ago in Florida shows that that's exactly what the election is going to be about. And it's not just about Obamacare, it's about the failure of big government. People, particularly young people, are seeing the failure, but it crosses the age spectrum out there. And I think if you're in Arkansas, Louisiana, North Carolina, or Alaska, those Democrat senators are probably looking at these election results and sweating bullets right now, because they know the same thing's going to be true this November.
And Dave Jolly did not have the name recognition and was outspent 4-1. Governor, I want to talk about your state for a second. Like Mitch Daniels, came into a situation that was somewhat dubious, what he did in Indiana, and then you've turned it around to the point where you guys are actually going to report a surplus this year. You came in with a $3 billion deficit. Now you have a $1 billion surplus by 2015. You had to work with the legislature to do it. How did it happen?
Well, it's a combination of great economy, more people are working, more employers are hiring, personal income is actually up, and some tough but prudent budget decisions that helped us not only balance our state budget, but our local budgets as well. Our schools are doing better. In fact, our ACT scores continue to be far above the national average. Our graduation rates are up since I've been governor. Our third-grade reading scores are up. And so with this surplus, we're going to take a little bit of it and set it aside in our balance, although our rainy day fund today is 165 times bigger than it was when I took office. But the vast majority of the rest of it, $500 million in direct tax relief for property taxes and income tax, and another $300 million we're going to use to reform withholding, so that a typical working family in our state, mom and dad work and 2 kids, will actually see an extra $522 in their paycheck yet this year. That's big money.
Like Governor Christie, you won in a place where Democrats usually thrive. What does that say?
Well, I think people are hungry for leadership in times of crisis, be it economic or fiscal, both of which our state has tackled the last couple of years. People more than anything in the center don't want you to move to the center. They want you to lead. And we took, as you mentioned, more than a $3 billion deficit and turned it into a surplus. We did it in a way that wasn't about austerity. It was about reform. And we ultimately showed that the true sign of success is not how many people are dependent on the government, but how many people are no longer dependent, because we've empowered them to control their own lives and their own destinies. And we want to continue to do that going forward. That's what these elections are going to be about this November, and that's why I'm excited about not only my election, but a lot of other key elections for governor, for the United States Senate, and for the House coming up on November 4th.
Right, and if before you make a decision about running for president, you want to make sure that you keep that job as governor, so it'll be a tough fight going up to the midterms. Governor, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.